It's the Rage Monkeys here at Shenango River Lake Campground. I heard about this campground from my sister when we were looking to camp somewhere where we could get a nice private wooded campsite right on the lake. The lakefront sites do not have electric, water, or sewer hookups. Our site had its own little private beach. We did have to share our site with a few little critters. My favorite were all the geese that we saw. It was the perfect little spot to read my book, watch the wildlife, and the boats go by. We took our 3 inflatable kayaks with us, which we could launch right from our campsite. We only inflated one of the boats on this trip, and we took turns paddling out into the water around the shoreline and sometimes just chasing each other. The roads within the campground are all paved, so it made it a really nice place to ride our bikes. Relatively speaking, there were not too many hills in the campground, so we rode everywhere. There were a few playgrounds scattered throughout the campground, so we stopped and checked out each one of those. They were a little dated, but we still had some fun. We were also able to fish right from our campsite, although, as usual, we didn't catch a thing. There isn't a whole lot to do at this campground unless you have a boat. There's only one small trail to hike. So we pulled out some of our games, like this giant throw burrito game. No burrito. All in all, we had a really nice day just hanging out around the campground. But when this guy showed up, I probably should have known that it was a bad omen, and all hell was about to break loose. Well, I mean, not that kind of hell. More like something like this. So we knew there was a possibility that we could expect a little bit of rain, and we were sitting outside just playing a game, and it started to sprinkle. So we thought, well, we'll just move this inside while this little storm goes by. And out of nowhere, the wind just picked up so fast. So one of us ran to hurry up and close the awning, and the rest of us just dove into all the bunk ends, which were still unzipped, and started trying to zip them up. But I could not hold the material up to the bunk end to get the zipper to go around because the wind was just blowing so hard into the end of the bunk. And I'm looking out over at the lake, and the water was just coming up like in waves on the shore. And I thought I had to be in The Wizard of Oz. And at any second that our camper was just gonna lift up in the air and start spinning around in circles. That little bit of rain that we were expecting had turned into a very large storm while we weren't looking. We didn't really know what the extent of the damage around the campground was until the next morning when I took another bike ride. There were trees down all around the campground across some of the campground roads. The one tree was so large that I didn't realize at first that there was a car trapped underneath it. There had been 2 people inside the car, and the tree fell on them as they were trying to leave the campground. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, and they were able to get out of the car safely. The most jaw-dropping thing we saw was this car. The top of a large tree broke off, landed on this car, and just crushed it. Thankfully, no one was in the car and no one got hurt. I hope they had good insurance. Our little weekend getaway turned into one of the most memorable camping trips that we ever had. We finished it off with a few more snacks and games, and then we were ready to phone home.